The research lab hummed with quiet intensity, fluorescent lights casting a pale glow on Dr. Una Park's determined face. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, weaving complex quantum algorithms that most scientists considered impossible. Outside, the window, the International Stellar Research Center looked like any other government building, bland, gray, unimpressive. But inside, something extraordinary was brewing. Una had been working for 3 years on a project that would change everything humans understood about technological warfare. Her colleagues thought she was crazy. Director Kim Jae-sung had laughed during her last presentation, his dismissive chuckle echoing through the conference room. Quantum communication disruption? Impossible, he had said, shaking his head. Una knew better. She had discovered something hidden within quantum network structures, a vulnerability so subtle that no alien civilization had ever noticed it. Her research suggested that complex communication networks, no matter how advanced, always had one fundamental weakness: predictability. The Zorn Empire, known for their massive starships and advanced technological systems, believed themselves unbeatable. They saw humans as primitive, barely worth considering in galactic politics. Every diplomatic meeting reduced human representatives to footnotes, mere background noise in grand interstellar discussions. Her current prototype looked like a simple data chip. Small, unremarkable, with a metallic blue surface that seemed completely ordinary. But inside those microscopic circuits lay a potential revolution. Pak Hoon, her primary research assistant, watched her work. He was brilliant in his own right, a network engineer who understood systems at a molecular level. "Are you sure this will work?" he asked, his voice a mixture of skepticism and hope. "Watch," Una responded. She connected the chip to a simulated quantum network, mimicking the communication infrastructure used by advanced alien civilizations. The system was a replica, built from intercepted technical specifications and years of painstaking research. Seconds ticked by. Then something remarkable happened. The entire simulated network began to fracture. Not dramatically, but systematically. Like a precise surgical cut, the quantum connection started breaking down, revealing vulnerabilities that no one had ever seen before. Pak Hoon's eyes widened. "Impossible," he whispered, echoing the same word used by their skeptical colleagues. Una allowed herself a small smile. Impossible was just a word used by people who couldn't imagine beyond their current understanding. Her research wasn't just about breaking networks. It was about understanding the fundamental language of technological communication. Every system, no matter how complex, spoke a language, and languages could be learned, decoded, and ultimately manipulated. The quantum chip represented years of work, countless nights without sleep, rejected research proposals, moments of doubt where she questioned her own sanity. But now, looking at the fractured network simulation, she knew she was right. "We're going to change everything," she told Pak Hoon. He nodded, understanding the weight of her statement. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. This was a potential weapon that could level the playing field between humans and technologically superior alien civilizations. The Zorn Empire believed humans were weak. They saw Earth as a minor planet, populated by a species barely worth acknowledging. Trade agreements treated humans like children, offering limited technological exchanges and patronizing diplomatic interactions. But this chip would change everything. It was a silent revolution, encoded in quantum frequencies and mathematical precision. Una knew the risks. If her research was discovered prematurely, she could lose everything: scientific reputation, research funding, perhaps even her freedom. The galactic political landscape did not appreciate technological disruptions, especially from species considered inferior. Yet she continued. Each line of code was a statement. Each algorithm a rebellion against predetermined galactic hierarchies. The simulation completed its cycle. The quantum network lay in digital ruins, its supposedly impenetrable structure now revealed as fragile and predictable. Pak Hoon looked at her, a mixture of fear and excitement in his eyes. "What happens next?" he asked. Yuna's response was simple and loaded with quiet determination. "We prepare." The first stage of her revolution had just begun, and no one, not the Zorn Empire, not her skeptical colleagues, would see it coming. The underground meeting room was small and windowless, lit by a single pale blue holographic lamp. 6 people sat around a circular table, their faces serious and focused. They represented humanity's most brilliant minds in technology, each chosen carefully for a mission that could change everything. Yuna Park stood at the center, her presentation displaying complex network diagrams and quantum frequency maps. These weren't just technical drawings, they were battle plans. Li Sujin, a cybersecurity expert with sharp eyes and hands that moved like lightning across digital interfaces, watched intently. She had spent years tracking alien communication patterns, building a secret database of vulnerabilities that most researchers would never discover. "We have approximately 6 months, Yuna explained, her voice calm and steady. "The Zorn Empire is planning a major expansion campaign. Their fleet movements suggest they'll target human outer colonies first." Pak Hoon, the network architect, brought up satellite tracking data. Red markers showed potential invasion routes, highlighting vulnerable human settlements that would be first in the Zorn Empire's path. No one spoke about the potential casualties. They didn't need to. Each person in the room understood what was at stake. The team was diverse. Kim Min-ki, a quantum physics specialist, had developed intricate algorithms that could potentially disrupt massive communication networks. His hands were always slightly shaking, not from fear but from constant caffeine and nervous energy. Choi Yoon-ji, a communication systems engineer, had spent 3 years studying Zorn Empire's technological infrastructure. She knew their systems, better than most Zorn engineers themselves. Her specialty was finding tiny cracks in seemingly perfect technological walls. "Their quantum communication network has one fundamental weakness," she explained, highlighting a complex diagram. "It relies on predictable transmission frequencies. If we can create a viral algorithm that exploits these frequencies, we can essentially blind their entire fleet." The plan was dangerous. One mistake could expose their entire operation. The Zorn Empire did not tolerate technological challenges, especially from humans, a species they considered technologically primitive. Pak Hoon started mapping out potential delivery mechanisms. They couldn't use traditional communication channels. Everything had to be subtle, undetectable, like a ghost moving through a complex digital landscape. "We'll need multiple backup plans," Li Sujin said, her fingers already coding potential alternative strategies. "If the primary approach fails, we need secondary and tertiary options." Each team member understood the risks. Discovery meant more than just professional disgrace. It could mean complete destruction of their research, potential legal consequences, and leaving human colonies completely vulnerable. But they also understood something more important. Humanity's survival depended on innovation, on thinking differently, on creating solutions where others saw only problems. Kim Min-ki pulled up a holographic model showing potential quantum virus structures. Each design was more complex than the last, representing layers of potential attack strategies. "We're not just building a weapon," Yuna said quietly. "We're building a message, a statement that humans are more than what others perceive us to be." The room fell silent. Each person knew the weight of that statement. For years, human technological achievements had been dismissed, ridiculed, considered insignificant in the grand galactic landscape. This was their chance to change that narrative. Hours passed. Coffee cups emptied. Complex diagrams replaced previous designs. Mathematical models were created, tested, discarded, and reimagined. Outside the meeting room, the world continued normally. People walked streets, worked jobs, lived their lives, completely unaware that a small group was preparing a technological revolution that could alter human history forever. By midnight, they had a plan, not perfect but possible, a series of interconnected strategies that could potentially disrupt the most advanced communication network in the known galaxy. "We'll need absolute secrecy," Yuna reminded them. Her eyes scanned each team member's face, checking for any sign of doubt or hesitation. There were none. They weren't just researchers anymore. They were humanity's silent defenders. Creating a weapon, not of destruction, but of survival. A digital shield forged from intelligence, creativity, and an unbreakable human spirit. The first stage of their resistance had begun. 18 months of constant work transformed a small warehouse into humanity's most important secret laboratory. Concrete walls were covered with complex digital screens, each displaying different quantum network simulations. The air buzzed with quiet intensity and electronic hums. Yuna's team worked in carefully planned shifts. Some members would code for 12 hours straight, while others monitored system responses. Sleep became a luxury. Coffee, their primary fuel. Li Sujin discovered the first major breakthrough. Hidden within standard communication protocols, she found microscopic transmission gaps. These tiny spaces were less than a millisecond long. Invisible to most monitoring systems, but large enough to inject specialized viral codes. We're not just creating a virus, she explained to Pak Hun. We're designing a precise surgical instrument. Their quantum chip evolved daily. What started as a simple prototype now resembled a complex living system. Each iteration became more sophisticated, more capable of adapting to different network environments. Global satellite networks were carefully monitored. The team tracked Zorn Empire's fleet movements, studying their communication patterns. Every transmission, every signal became a potential learning opportunity. Kim Min-ki developed specialized encryption techniques that could hide their research from external detection. Firewalls weren't just protection anymore. They were intricate, camouflage systems designed to make their work invisible. Choi Yoonji focused on understanding alien communication languages. She broke down complex quantum transmission codes, identifying universal communication patterns that existed across different technological systems. Their workspace looked chaotic to outsiders. Holographic displays floated everywhere. Handwritten, mathematical equations covered transparent boards. Empty coffee cups and energy drink containers were scattered around high-performance computer stations. But beneath the apparent chaos was precise, calculated planning. Each team member understood the stakes. One mistake could expose everything. Discovery meant not just failure of their project, but potential destruction of human outer colonies. They worked silently, knowing their research could change everything humans understood about technological warfare. Pak Hun developed specialized neural network algorithms that could predict potential communication disruption strategies. His code was so complex that standard decryption systems would take years to understand its basic structure. Yuna monitored everything. She was the conductor of this complex technological orchestra, ensuring each component worked perfectly with others. "We are creating something beyond a weapon," she often told her team. "We are creating a message, a statement about human potential." Their quantum chip became more than a technological device. It represented hope, resistance, a way for humanity to stand against technologically superior civilizations that had consistently underestimated them. Government research centers remained unaware. Official scientific communities continued their standard research, completely oblivious to the revolutionary work happening in this small warehouse. Specialized cooling systems kept their computer networks at perfect operating temperatures. Advanced ventilation systems ensured no external signals could accidentally leak information about their work. Security was paramount. Team members used specialized communication devices that changed encryption codes every few minutes. Personal devices were completely banned from the workspace. Slowly, methodically, they were preparing a technological revolution. Zorn Empire's communication networks, considered unbreakable by galactic standards, had no idea what was coming. Their arrogance would become their greatest weakness. As months passed, the quantum chip transformed. What once seemed impossible now looked achievable. Mathematical models predicted success rates that grew with each test. "We're ready," Yuna finally announced one evening, looking at her exhausted but determined team. The quantum chip sat quietly on a simple metallic tray. Small, unremarkable. But within its microscopic circuits lay humanity's most sophisticated technological weapon. The silent preparation was complete. The next phase would change everything. The Zorn Empire's massive fleet approached human outer colonies like a metallic storm. Thousands of starships, each larger than small cities, moved with calculated precision. Their commanders believed victory was certain. Humans were considered nothing more than a minor obstacle. They were wrong. Yuna's team had been waiting. Every moment of their 18-month preparation came down to these next few minutes. Pak Hun's fingers hovered over the final transmission trigger. His hands were steady, but sweat formed on his forehead. One click would change everything. The quantum chip looked innocent, a small blue-gray device no larger than a human thumb, but inside its microscopic circuits lay a digital weapon more powerful than entire battle fleets. Zorn communication networks spread across their ships like complex nervous systems. Each transmission, each coordinate, each strategic command relied on quantum communication protocols considered unbreakable. Li Sujin had found their weakness, not in their technology, but in their predictability. Now, Yuna whispered. Pak Hun pressed the transmission button. Nothing seemed to happen immediately. No dramatic explosions, no sudden light shows, just silence. But deep within the Zorn fleet's communication system, something extraordinary began. The quantum virus didn't destroy systems. It infiltrated them. Like a precise surgical instrument, it moved through quantum transmission channels, breaking connections silently and systematically. Navigation systems started generating random coordinates. Communication arrays transformed into white noise. Complex battle group strategies dissolved into digital confusion. Massive starships, each weighing thousands of tons, suddenly became blind. Engines continued running, but no one knew where they were going. Strategic command structures collapsed within milliseconds. Kim Min-ki watched the simulation screens. Mathematical models predicted their virus's spread, showing how quickly it moved through alien networks. 97% system infiltration, he reported quietly. The Zorn fleet, once looking unstoppable, now drifted helplessly. Thousands of ships moved randomly, their advanced technologies rendered useless by lines of carefully constructed code. No weapons fired. No dramatic explosions occurred. The most advanced military force in the galaxy was defeated by invisible digital waves. Choi Yoon-ji tracked the virus's progression. Total network collapse in 3, 2, 1. Complete communication silence followed. Yuna watched the screens, her expression calm. Years of work, months of preparation had culminated in this moment. Humanity had just changed galactic history. The quantum strike wasn't about destruction. It was a precise message, a statement. The technological superiority wasn't about size or current capabilities, but about innovative thinking. Hours passed. The Zorn fleet remained disabled. No counterattacks came. Their entire military infrastructure had been systematically dismantled by a weapon they never saw coming. News would spread slowly, first through confused military communications, then through diplomatic channels. Eventually, the entire galactic community would understand what happened. Humans had defeated a supposedly unbeatable enemy using nothing more than intelligence, creativity, and advanced digital engineering. "We did it," Pak Hun said softly, looking at Yuna. She nodded. Their work was done, but they all knew this was just the beginning. The quantum strike had changed everything. Humanity was no longer just another minor species in the galactic community. They were now a technological force to be recognized, respected, and potentially feared. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, thousands of alien ships drifted silently, their advanced technologies rendered useless by a small team of human researchers who refused to be underestimated. The message was clear. Never mistake silence for weakness. Never assume technological superiority, and never, ever underestimate human potential. The quantum strike was complete. Humanity had arrived. The Stellar Council chamber fell silent when Dr. Yuna Park began her presentation. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations watched. their expressions a mixture of shock and disbelief. Holographic displays showed the complete destruction of the Zorn Empire's communication networks. Each slide revealed how a small human team had accomplished what entire alien military forces could not. "We didn't just disable a fleet," Una explained calmly. "We demonstrated a fundamental principle of technological warfare." Alien diplomats shifted uncomfortably in their seats. For centuries, humans had been treated like technological children. Primitive, insignificant, ignored. Not anymore. Pak Hoon stood beside her, presenting technical details. His fingers moved across holographic interfaces, showing precise mathematical models of their quantum virus. Each diagram revealed layers of complex engineering that previous galactic research had never imagined possible. The Zorn Empire's representatives looked defeated. Their once proud military technology had been completely dismantled by a weapon they couldn't even understand. Lee Suji tracked the global response. News networks across different planetary systems were broadcasting the extraordinary event. Humans had changed the entire galactic technological landscape in a single moment. "This isn't about destruction," Una told the Council. "This is about demonstrating what human innovation can achieve." Kim Min-Ki's research data showed how their quantum virus could potentially revolutionize communication technologies. What started as a defensive strategy could become a fundamental breakthrough in quantum network engineering. Alien diplomats began requesting detailed technical reports. Research institutions from multiple planets wanted to understand how humans had developed such advanced technology. The small team that had worked in a hidden warehouse was now at the center of galactic attention. Their months of secret preparation had transformed humanity's position in the cosmic hierarchy. Choi Eun-ji monitored global communication channels. The response was overwhelming. Humans were no longer seen as a minor species. They were now recognized as a potential technological powerhouse. "We've changed everything," Pak Hoon whispered to Una. She nodded. Their work was about more than military strategy. It was about proving that innovation knows no limitations, that potential can emerge from unexpected places. Diplomatic meetings that once treated humans as background noise now requested their full attention. Technology exchanges that were previously limited now became open and extensive. The Zorn Empire's collapse created a power vacuum in galactic politics, and humans were suddenly at the center of that transformation. Research funding for human technological projects increased dramatically. Universities that had previously ignored quantum communication research now created entire departments dedicated to understanding their breakthrough. "This is just the beginning," Una told her team during a private celebration. They understood the weight of her words. Their quantum virus was more than a weapon. It was a statement, a declaration that humans would no longer be underestimated. Alien civilizations that had ignored or dismissed human potential now watched carefully. Every technological development would be scrutinized. Every research project would be analyzed. The warehouse where they had worked became a historic site, a small, unremarkable building that had changed galactic history. Interviews followed. Technical conferences demanded their presence. Research institutions offered unlimited funding and resources. But for Una and her team, the real victory wasn't about recognition. It was about proving that human creativity could overcome seemingly impossible challenges. "We showed them what humans can do," Pak Hoon said, looking at the holographic displays of their successful mission. News networks continued broadcasting their story. A small team of researchers had defeated the most powerful military force in the known galaxy. Not through traditional weapons, but through pure technological innovation. The quantum strike was complete. Technological vindication was achieved. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay.